once a fugitive.
Are you sure you know what you're doing?
Most of the time.
Who's here to help.
How did you do that?
The other
He's trying to get to the mountain.
is the hunter.
Come out, MacArthur!
And tonight, they're coming face to face.
Oh, my God. You have a live extraterrestrial running loose around my facility.
Switch on to the all-new series.
You're spooky.
Thursday, 7:30, The Visitor.
You can't go past the new Mazda Protege.
Need some help in the garden? Then visit your Stihl specialist dealer, where you'll find an extensive range of mowers, mulchers, trimmers, as well as professional service and advice. To get Stihl and Biking working for you, just call into your nearest dealer.
Please, Daddy, talk to me. It doesn't matter what we say.
You don't even have to use big words. I'm not impressed by big words. I'm impressed by that word. What about you? You want to talk to me?
I'm talking to you.
What happens if I do all the talking? No. Wait, what is that, French? Finish?
And when I'm older,
I'm not finished. You want more, don't you? What? Huh?
You know, it's
Pick it
true,
out.
my daddy.
What are you going to do when you grow up? Hit things. Oh, you're going to be a drummer. You're going to ride a motorcycle? No, you're not going to ride a motorcycle. Is this negotiable? Oh, bless you.
If you want your children to talk to you when they're older,
Me?
talk to them when they're younger. From the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
We got a lot to talk about.
What an absolutely sensational story, all the way from Ireland, and Jim Stynes certainly was an experiment that went very, very right. He played a record number of consecutive games, Dougie. He's been an absolute champion for the club, hasn't he?
He's about 4 or 5 games off the record of Robert Flower, Jace. And I reckon, really, my opinion here, he didn't play a lot of footy this year. At the age of 32, without a lot of injuries, I believe Jim Stynes can still play lead football. And don't be surprised if he has that decided maybe to continue on, an AFL club may pick him up. I just think he can still play.
And, of course, Jim at this very moment is with the All-Australian side mid-flight as they head over to Ireland for a couple of tests of Gaelic footy against the Irish. But tell me, have a look at this and see if you can remember this bloke. Now, the man in picture there is not Jim Stynes, it's actually his brother, Brian. Now, he came out for a while, spent some time at Prahran, also down at Melbourne. He's actually representing Ireland in these tests.
Is that right?
It'll be brother against brother. Now, I think pretty good time now to head straight to Ireland. We're going to be joined by James Hird and Brian in the RTE studios in Dublin. Put your hands together for Hirdy and Brian Stein. All right, Hirdy, great to see you, mate. Now, you've been over there promoting the game, the upcoming tests between Ireland and Australia. How's it all going? Just getting a taste for the Guinness, are we?
Yeah, the Guinness has been great, Jason. I'm here with Brian Stynes, brother of Jim Stynes, of course, and the Irish public are loving it. The Irish media are very worried about the Australian style of game, worried that we're going to bash the Irish up, and in fact, Dipper is a bit of a cult hero here. If I get asked about Dipper once more, I'll knock him out when I next see him.
Well, let's just ask Brian. Brian, what are the expectations of the Irish? I mean, who are the favourites to win the two-test series?
Well, in Ireland definitely are the favourites.
It's not what I hear, Brian.
I think a few locals think we're going to get beaten up, but from my past experiences of it, I think we'll do okay.
And Brian, is Jimmy a bit of a hero in Ireland? Of course, in Melbourne, winning the Brownlow medal and that. Is the Island people regard him as a bit of a hero?
I think a lot of the time, because it's so far away, he probably doesn't get the adulations that he gets in Australia. But I think this test and the test that happened about 9 years ago will definitely bring up his profile here. And they've just heard over here that he announced his retirement. So I think he'll get a lot more media attention than in the past. So I think after this, he'll definitely be up there.
And Brian, with Jimmy doing so well, particularly in Melbourne, of course, do you have any regrets about leaving Melbourne and going back home?
Well, personally, I mean, it wasn't going as well for me out there as it was for Jimmy. So, you know, I had a few operations and things didn't go to plan over there. But since I came back here, I've had a good career in that we won a premiership after 2 years. And so on a personal note, and this Irish thing coming up on the representative sides, I've done quite well. So so far, I've had no regrets.
All right, now, Hurdy, tell us about the ground conditions, the weather, and what size crowd we're going to expect there for the first test coming up on Sunday.
Yeah, Jason, we're looking for a crowd of about 45,000. The Irish people are right behind it. The weather, well, it's not exactly an Australian summer. There's wind and rain everywhere, which is to be expected. But I think the biggest opposition for the Australians, besides the Irish players, is going to be the Guinness that's being put in front of them. Every pub you walk into, there's a free beer for an Australian player. And look, it is going to be party time, but definitely the game is what we're concentrating on. This Sunday, of course, is the first game. And Brian, the round ball is something Australians are going to have a bit of a problem with, and the wind tends to grab that ball and throw it around a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think, you know, skill-wise, the Australians have always had a problem kicking the ball straight, in that we kick around the corner, the Australians kick straight. So that's the biggest problem, is they're going to be scoring. And so hopefully, you know, if they'll probably get more possession than the Irish, but if they don't put it to good advantage, we hope to do it with the little possession. We will hope to get more scores and win the match.
Brian, it's Andrew Gaze here, mate. What about the game itself? Is there much difference between the traditional Irish game to the Australian rules game?
Yeah, definitely. You know, we've had a few trials, and a lot of the Irish do look out of sorts playing this game, in that, you know, we don't tackle very well. We tend to stand off the player like in basketball. The other thing being that the mark, when fellas take the mark, they don't seem to stop and go back. They tend to go on and handball it to a fella with a fella on him, and so you know, there's a few little rules like that. Even the fisted handball, we tend to handball with an open hand. So little skills like that, our fellas are having problems with. But hopefully after the first game, definitely we'll have a better scope on it.
One of the big problems, guys, that the Irish have with our style of game is how rough we are, and everyone's sort of asking if we are going to just beat up on the Irish. And I didn't think our game was that rough, but the Irish definitely, Brian, see it as a pretty rough style of game, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the games in the past, like, that's the reason Dipper has such a big name. And the general was.
Gee, they're throwing punches here, Jace.
The general as well from Richmond.
It's Wayne Johnson.
Is that the up there?
It's funny, guys.
There's a bit of footage on at the moment of the last time the tests were going on, and it certainly was a case of last man standing. I mean, look, how serious are the Irish taking it, Brian? I mean, what's at stake over there for the locals?
Definitely, you know, they take it very seriously here, especially because we don't have a chance to play nationally for our country in Gaelic. So, and likewise Australian rules. So it's a big thing for the players, and I think the media are definitely getting behind it, and the supporters are getting behind it. But I think a lot of the supporters think that it's going to be a big brawl out there in Croke Park. But unfortunately, I think Australia have picked the best footballers this time, and the Irish have picked the best footballers and not the biggest brutes. So I think it might be a different game this time.
Now,
It's funny, Jason, the two people most famous in Ireland at the moment are Pauline Hanson and Dipper, so I don't know whether Dipper can be compared with Pauline Hanson at all, but she seems to be the flavour of the month over here. Just quickly, Jason, this is the Australian jumper. This will be the one worn by the Australians, so this is a very famous jumper, obviously, and probably be on sale very shortly in stores in Melbourne. And Brian said it's a lot better than the Irish one, which is a lovely green, is that right?
Yeah, unfortunately, they try to. Unfortunately, the Irish here try to make a jersey like the Australians, and they've made it bald.
Geez, it's hard to get a word in with you two there. Now, James, I know you love a bit of singing at the karaoke. Have you been brushing up on your karaoke skills over in the pubs over there?
Definitely, Damien. Look, there's not as much karaoke. It's just you just get in the pub and have a sing-along, and as you said, a few Guinnesses, and really the public here have made us feel very welcome. Just settling back and having a few beers, and really it's a sort of socialisation that you couldn't expect anywhere else in the world. The people here make you feel very friendly.
All right, Herdy, thanks to both you and Brian for joining us. We're going to have to leave it there, mate. I'm just, well, just to finish off, I just can't quite work out how you're over there having fun in Ireland and we're stuck here with the little leprechaun and the Jolly Green Giant.
Well, look, mate, it's a hard job, but someone has to do it, and I'll have a Guinness tonight for you.
Good on you, guys, and hopefully the Irish go okay in the test, Brian. James Hird and Brian Stynes there. It's going to be a fantastic test on Sunday and again the following week. Put your hands together for James Hird and Brian Stynes. And it certainly should be a couple of great tests. That's kicking off, of course, this Sunday and the next Sunday. Check your guides. You can catch all the action right here on Channel 7. Now, it seems that at the moment there's a big event on nearly every weekend. Last weekend was no exception. We're talking about the federal election.
Pretty boring, Jason.
You got your donkey vote in, did you, Dougie?
I got my donkey vote in, and I tell you, it was that boring. I went and got a video. All the videos were gone. So I went and got a thing called Boogie Nights. And let me tell you, Burt Lancaster was not Burt Lancaster, Burt Reynolds. And I'll tell you what, Dirk Diggler... and I'll tell you what, Dirk Diggler, how did he go, Dirk in it? Oh, he was fantastic.
I guess the great thing about living in a democracy is every adult gets a vote, and it's a secret ballot. So who do you blokes vote for?
Oh, it's, donkey vote, I think.
The leprechaun, mate.
The leprechaun. All right, well, in honour of the coalition election victory, one of Australia's greatest ever bands, Acca Dacca, re-released one of their classics.
Election night, GST, I was right, GST, it's a 10% low, GST, holding that road. Election night, GST, I was right, GST, it's a 10% low, GST, holding that road.
I'll tell you what, Dougie, I reckon that might just sell a few records second time round too.
I'll tell you what, Jason, the production crew and Harvey, of course, Channel 7, I'll tell you what, to whack that together, they've done a super job, mate, to chop that up and put that out.
Well, we'll talk basketball with Tony Ronaldson and Michelle Timms next, but we'll go to the break with one of the great BNS ball traditions.
Nothing ain't good comes south of the Murray. Nothing ain't good in the far side line. 31 North is the best thing about it. I've heard it all 1,000 times. Hey! Hey! I'm gonna work the Northern Circuit, pick up rides along the way. When I get to Music City, take out my guitar and play.